I believe that is correct.
And the
sir.
EU has asked our permission to take that money and give it to Ukraine so they can knock Russia in the next week and let's get this war over. That's a good idea, don't you think?
Well, I think anything that can be done to stop that war is a good idea, sir.
Would you support giving that 225 billion, no taxpayer money in America, to Ukraine?
Well, again, sir, that's outside my purview as a service chief.
Okay.
$300 billion in frozen Russian assets sitting in European escrow. Ukraine knocking out nearly half of Russia's oil export capacity with drones. And an adversary in Beijing publicly telegraphing his anxiety about Taiwan. Welcome to American hearings. Senator Kennedy just sat down with top military leaders, and he didn't waste a single minute. The questions are pointed. The implications are enormous.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy.
Forgive me, Mr. Chairman, for interrupting. And I say this with the respect for you and these three gentlemen. But as you know, we've got a very important meeting at 11 o'clock. We're going to have to leave. I would respectfully ask if we could limit the opening remarks so we could get to ask a few questions.
Senator Kennedy, Senator Coons has been perfectly all right with taking two on our side first, and then they get two. So we'll be able to get to both of you.
I know, but my point is we're going to start at 11 o'clock. I've got to be there, and these gentlemen have some wonderful prepared statements, but I can read faster than they can talk. And I was hoping if they could give us the Cliff's Notes version, we might have enough time to ask a question.
Or go ahead and ask the question.
Do you mind?
No.
Do you mind, gentlemen?
Sir, not at all.
All right. I'll try to be brief. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. We need more ships. We're going to give you money to build more ships. You need to get those ships built. You need to build as many of them as you can in Louisiana, but let's get them built. General, is Russia our friend?
Sir, they're not.
Between Ukraine and Russia, who do we want to win that war?
Well, we prefer there not be a war, but obviously,
Well, but there is. Who do we want to win?
obviously we want Ukraine to stand independently and not be consumed by Russia.
Okay. Now, when Putin went into Ukraine, he thought he was going to roll in and take it over in 2 days like thunder on a summer night, didn't he?
I believe he did.
But the Ukrainian people have fought back, haven't they?
Yes, sir. They have fought back.
And they now have some of the most sophisticated drone technology in the history of the world, don't they?
Sir, they do. They're doing very well with drones.
And they're giving, with the limited resources they have, they're giving Russia a curb stomping, aren't they?
I would say they are.
In fact, they have knocked out, with their limited resources, 40% of Russia's export ability of their oil. They, since January, using their drones and limited cruise missiles, they have hit oil and gas facilities within Russia over 100 times. Not on the border, within Russia, right?
Yes, sir.
And Putin was so scared, he almost had to cancel their military parade. Didn't he?
Well, I'm not sure of that, sir, but I will take your word for that, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, how much money? Now, let me just lead you. The world has $300 billion of frozen Russian assets in escrow, don't we?
I don't know, sir.
I do. It's $300 billion. And 2/3 of that, about $225 billion, is sitting in Europe, isn't it?
Again, sir, I'm not sure of that.
Well, I am. And I'm surprised, no disrespect, that you don't know. And Europe has asked our permission to take that $200 to $225 billion. Well, I mean, strike that. That $225 billion, humor me, that's sitting there frozen. Not a single penny is American taxpayer money, is it?
I don't believe it is.
No. It all belongs to Russia, doesn't it?
I believe that is correct.
And the
sir.
EU has asked our permission to take that money and give it to Ukraine so they can knock Russia in the next week and let's get this war over. That's a good idea, don't you think?
Well, I think anything that can be done to stop that war is a good idea, sir.
Would you support giving that 225 billion, no taxpayer money in America, to Ukraine?
Again, sir, that's outside my purview as a service chief.
Okay. Admiral, let me ask you a question. Would it be fair to say, based on his public and notorious comments, both before, during, and after the summit between President Xi and President Trump, that President Xi, how can I put this? He's nervous as a pregnant nun about what we're going to do on Taiwan, isn't he?
Sir, I do think he is concerned about our capability against any invasion of Taiwan.
I mean, talk about telegraphing your insecurities. I mean, he talked about it right out of the chute. He's practically sending us a television ad saying, I'm very worried about Taiwan. Now, we don't want a war with China, do we?
Absolutely not.
No. We want stability, though, with China, don't we?
Yes, sir.
And China doesn't recognize, President Xi doesn't recognize charity, does he?
I can't speak to that, but I would say probably not.
Well, he appreciates strength, doesn't he?
I would say so, yes,
If
sir.
you're in a bar fight with President Xi and you start quoting Socrates like we did under President Biden, you're going to get your rear end whipped, aren't you?
That's probably not a good course of action.
Yes. Okay, so why don't we go ahead? Don't you think it'd be a good idea for us to gain leverage to make weapons sales to Taiwan right now?
Sir, again, these things are very complex and a full calculus of all the levers of power that are being negotiated and worked. So generally,
I'm sorry, what more do we have to know, Admiral? President Xi has telegraphed his anxiety, his insecurity, now that he knows that America has learned how to fight. We want leverage. We want stability, not a hot war. We want leverage. What's his insecurity? Taiwan. Why don't we just go ahead and sell the weapons to Taiwan that Taiwan wants? The president can call President Xi and say, hey, President Xi, don't take it personally. Don't get excited. Don't get your bowels in an uproar. But I'm selling these weapons. Why wouldn't we do that?
we definitely want Taiwan to be as strong as they can be, sir.
They'd be stronger with those weapons, though, wouldn't they?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think we ought to sell them?
Sir, I'm not going to get in front of the administration's overall calculus on that. That's just not I'm not going to make a statement on that as a service chief.
Okay.
But the capabilities that we're talking about would make them more effective.
I'm sorry to go over. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get my points in. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I've got to go, gentlemen. I'm really sorry. And I don't mean any disrespect by being so direct. But we're down to it. We're down to it.
Welcome back to American Hearings. Senator Kennedy walks in short on time and immediately makes it everyone else's problem. He politely asks for the CliffsNotes version of prepared statements because, in his words, he reads faster than they talk. That confidence sets the tone for everything that follows. He opens on Russia and Ukraine, not with geopolitical theory, but with hard numbers. 40% of Russia's oil export capacity knocked out by Ukrainian drones. Over 100 strikes inside Russian territory since January. These aren't talking points, they're receipts, delivered like a prosecutor laying out evidence. Notice the tactic. By reciting the data before asking the question, Kennedy's already framing the answer. The general can't downplay Ukraine's effectiveness. It's already been established. Then comes the frozen assets argument. $300 billion. Not 1 cent of American taxpayer money. Sitting in European escrow. Europe has been asking for permission to redirect it toward Ukraine. Kennedy's pitch is clean. Russia's own money, no American dollars, the war ends faster. He pushes a military official for direct support, and gets redirected to outside my purview. That's a diplomatic non-answer. Kennedy knows it. The audience knows it. The China segment is where the session sharpens. He frames President Xi's public statements on Taiwan as signals of vulnerability, not strength. Publicly telegraphing concern is rarely a power move, and Kennedy builds a case for leveraging that insecurity through weapon sales to Taiwan. The Admiral's response, "It's complex, there's a full calculus," is the kind of answer that frustrates both senators and audiences. Kennedy's approach here is a masterclass in directional questioning. He hands you the conclusion, then asks you to disagree. Most people can't. Subscribe to American Hearings for more breakdowns like this one.